So standard side control. Set up first. Always want to fix our base. Okay? Our standard base, one leg by the hip, one leg by the shoulders, right? Okay. You can change this leg, you can come off the ground at different times. We're going to talk about when and why. The first thing that I want to try to do is ensure I have a good base. I'm always going to use the cross face for standard side control, okay? So I'm going to come across here, and my elbow needs to be on the ground, okay? If my elbow's not on the ground, then I don't have a deep enough grip. That makes sense? But if you're reaching like this and your elbow's off the ground, you're not set up correctly. Okay? I want to go all the way until my elbow's off the ground. I like to reach and try to grab just on his lap, like into his armpit. Okay? You can lose the lapel and different things. That's a different type of side control we'll talk about later in the week. Okay? So I want cross face, elbow on the ground. Cool? This hand here comes in. My chicken wing is pushing his hip back towards me, and I'm going to do a gable grip right underneath. Okay? So this elbow here, pushing his hip in, my right leg is pushing into it. And this helps me control his hips better when using standard side control. Cool? Everything pretty standard. All right, so tip one, I can create pressure here. Okay, I can just squeeze and push and make some pressure. Okay, everybody watch Cole's face. Okay, it turns kind of red. It's decent pressure. Okay. First tip to create less pressure, we got to understand how PSI works. Okay, pounds per square inch. My chest is huge and massive because I work out. Right, I got a pretty good sized chest. Cole does not, but it's decent. Okay. What we don't want is the entire mass of my chest touching the entire mass of his chest, because now I have a lot of inches that are touching. I want the minimum amount possible. So I'm going to do that by opening my chest up and making my sternum be one of the few things that touches him. That makes sense? So now when I put pressure on him, it's on a smaller surface. So if we have a smaller surface, same amount of pressure, more PSI, right? Because we have less inches. Make sense? Okay, so I'm going to always be opening my chest to make this. I don't want to be laying with my shoulders as dead where everything's touching. I want to open my chest up, get my head high, okay? And now there's only a small part of my chest still touching. I took half of my chest off of him. Cole, would you agree that feels worse?
Yeah.
Okay. Right away, okay? That's tip one, okay? Pretty simple, right? Less chest touching, better, okay? Next is on the back side. Right now he's laying on the ground, okay? His entire back is laying on the ground, the mat. So we have a lot of inches that are touching. I want the pressure to be on my hand, and that's it. So on top, we're gonna have a small surface, and on bottom, we're gonna have a small surface, and then I'm gonna put pressure on both of those. So we're gonna have a lot of PSI in those two places. Make sense? Okay, so we come under, my elbow's on the mat. I use my right hand to lift Cole off the ground and put my fist right between his shoulder blades. And then I let him back down on top of it. Okay? Now, whenever I put pressure on Cole, right, that's really bad, huh? It's terrible, okay? I do not like to do both hands, because now if Cole rolls me, I don't have any post. I like to do just one and leave the other one here, okay? Knuckles up, down, I don't think it matters. I just put it under there, open my chest, this sucks. Cool. You good with that? All right, step three is gravity only gives me so much. Okay, I weigh 205 pounds, so I get 205 pounds of force onto those two spots. Do that calculation. Scott's really smart. He'll tell you it's like whatever. It's 206 pounds of force. I don't know what it is. Okay? But I do know that I can do quite a bit in a barbell row. Anybody ever done rows before? You can do quite a bit of weight because your back's strong. So we're always going to pull to create pressure and not push. Okay? Elbows on the mat. I lift him up, put my fist below him in the middle of his back, and I'm going to pull him into me to create more pressure. Don't drive into him. Okay? I'm going to pull into him. Just squeeze. Cole, is that comfortable?
No.
It's terrible. Okay? You having fun yet?
Every day.
All right. Okay? So we're going to pull. This works the least in standard side control. When we switch to 100 kilos, later on it's much better because I can pull much better. Okay? Last little tip is I'm gonna get up on my toes, okay? I typically don't get on my toes in standard side control because I feel like it makes my leg vulnerable, okay? But when we do the other things together, there's gonna be so much pressure he's not gonna be able to move, all right? We're gonna come under, elbow on the mat, lift, put your fist behind, okay? Now I'm gonna pull him into me, like I'm giving him a hug, by opening my chest. Gets a pretty good amount of pressure. Now I come on my toes. See how long it takes to hold the tap. Okay? So side control is a submission. You all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. You all right? I'm fine. Didn't hurt me at all. Okay, I'm gonna have you guys work this, work through setting side control up and go through these steps and then give the guy some pressure and then I can walk around and help you, okay? Figure out what's going on, right? You can tap almost anybody with this. And this is not even the worst one. This is the crappiest of all of them, okay? So I should be able to get to side control and then put so much pressure on his chest that it doesn't even matter that I don't have control of his hips anymore because he can't move anyway. I was always taught that I'm gonna imagine my hands under there and I'm driving my fist through the mat. I'm creating so much pressure in, but I'm not pushing, okay? Never push because you get rolled over. Make sense? So real quick, just so Cole has to experience it one more time. Establish your cross face, lift, put your fist under. Put him back down, pull into him, give him a hug, okay? If you're really gonna be a jerk, you can twist your fist, make it real bad. Open your chest up while coming up onto your toes. And Cole will tap out. Okay? You all right?
Yeah, my card can I love you.
Yeah. So I will tell you this. Never do this to a brand new person. Okay? Have you ever separated the cartilage in the ribs? You guys ever had that happen yet? It's not a good experience. Okay? If your ribs aren't conditioned to grappling, all of y'all's are because you're used to this. But if you're new and you do this, somebody will pop their rib every time. Okay? So ease into this. Person on bottom, I encourage you not to find out how tough you are. Take some pressure and tap out so you don't pop a rib out. Cool? All right. Let's work on this real